Dementia is such a cruel disease. I'm sad that she's not here physically, but I think kind of what I've been coping with for the past several years is like, yo, my mom was already dead. Like, the woman who I knew was dead already. You know, we just had this shell of her here with us. And that was like a second loss, coping with the fact that the shell isn't here. I did my makeup today so that I don't cry through this video, because I'm like, I haven't been putting on makeup in a minute. I got up today. It took a lot of energy. I'm not going to cry. I'm going to do my best to kind of get through this video, but, you know, emotions have been up and down, so it is what it is, right? I'm human. Wanted to record this video as, I guess, a release. I lost my mommy on September 1st, and my heart is so broken. Like, I understand the circle of life, the cycle of life, right? And I know everyone has a time where they have to pass, but I was really hoping I would have some more years with my mom, you know, for her to see me get married, for her to see me have kids, like, to really see me thrive as a woman. I really wanted those things, and I know, oh, fuck, I just said I did my makeup. Dang it, give me 1 second. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm keeping a makeup brush and some tissue next to me so I can get through this video without looking crazy, okay? But anyway, I lost my mom on September 1st. She had been battling dementia for about maybe 5 years now, and it got to a point where she didn't want to eat, and so her organs started failing, and here we are with me in a world without my mom. And I wanted to record this video for a few reasons. One, because I am a creator, right? I create, that's what I do, as a hobby, but also as an outlet. And I felt like this is probably one of the most productive ways I can process how I'm feeling. I think one of the beautiful things about this YouTube algorithm is that videos have a funny way of finding you when you need to hear what's being said. Whether you just watch my channel and support my journey and, you know, want to be here for me, or if, you know, you have lost a parent, whether it was recently or several years ago. I understand that we're all on different timelines in our life. But my hope is that you find this video right on time, where it either can help you along your journey, or you can send me some words of encouragement, because I'm not gonna lie, I could definitely use them. I've been heavily relying on my family and my loved ones. You know, my boyfriend has been awesome. Literally just had a whole emotional breakdown with my sister on the phone earlier, which I think is allowing me to be able to record this. I know it's been a while since I posted, and I really just want to instill this feeling of family and, you know, a safe space. And I know other people might be dealing with things like this or just hurt. And so, I don't know, I'm just hoping to get some support. I also think that dementia is something that we don't talk about a lot. And from the stories that I've heard, it just seems to be heavily impacting the Black community. So I want to have conversations about this to kind of spread awareness, so that people understand that it is real. It's impacting a lot of Black people. And unfortunately, for several different reasons, you know, a lot of times we go without getting the care that we need when we're in situations like that. I figured I would document this process also for myself, because I want to be able to go back and see the phases of healing. You know, this is my first time. Well, I can't say my first time. My grandma was a major loss, and I still hurt over that. That was about 2 years ago. But my mom, though, like, losing a parent is, I don't want to say it's special, but it's definitely a different type of hurt that I don't think people will fully understand unless they've been through it. I love my mom with every fiber of my being. I used to get annoyed at how overprotective she was when I was growing up because I was her baby. I'm the youngest of her 6 kids. But getting to know her as an adult, that was my girl. You know, we would have 3-hour phone calls. We would cry at Lifetime movies. We would talk about guys, you know, just raw, authentic conversations. You know, we'd be on the phone and it's time to end the call. And so I say, I love you. And my mom would be like, I love you more. And I'd be like, I love you more. I love you more. We go back and forth doing that for a couple of minutes before we ended the call. And my mom would just give this super hearty laugh. Like, my mom's laugh really, like, I don't know. It just is like it makes you feel warm, you know. I'd like to think that all the things that people say about me, so, you know, being goofy and my big smile and just being a bright light, those things come from my mom. And so that warmth, I'm really gonna miss that. Like, I'm really gonna miss her. I have been dealing with like a tremendous amount of guilt because I really feel like me separating from my mom, so moving out and being an adult, it really hurt her to her core because it was always me and her, you know. Like, she would always say, it's always you and me to the end. Like, you always got my back. It's me and you. Cause like, me and my mom, we've been through some stuff together, you know. And maybe those stories will come out in the future, who knows? But my mom and I really been through some stuff together, you know, with my dad and just like family stuff. But like, I always had her back, you know, and she always had my back. And now I just kind of feel like I'm here without her and I feel lost. But I also feel bad because, you know, when I went off and moved to another city after I graduated from college, I remember one night my mom called me and she's just bawling on the phone, and she was saying how, you know, she's having a really hard time adjusting. And it's like a weird feeling because it's like you want to live your life as an adult. But I really feel like my mom, like, separating from her, that did something to her. You know, my friends and I used to always come over and hang out with her because she really didn't have a lot of friends. She was a homebody to the core. Anybody who knew my mom will tell you that. But like, my friends that would come over and we would hang with her because she was literally so fun to be around. Like, I would literally hang out with my mom, right? And so would my friends. And so I think we were kind of like her social life. And when I left, I feel like she just went downhill from there. And it started out around like 2019 where she would just forget little things. And I'm like, oh, I remember telling my family, I'm like, I don't know. I think something is going on with mom, you know, something like, she's forgetting things that I feel like she shouldn't be forgetting, or she just seems a little bit off. And I don't know, like, that was when I was moving to Atlanta. And I'm like, was it worth it to move to Atlanta? Like, I probably should have stayed there, stayed home, or moved her down to Atlanta with me. Even though she didn't really want to come. Like, I tried to get her down to Atlanta with me, but I can't help but think, like, if I was still there and hands-on with her and, you know, there to help her with the loss of mental cognition, or maybe just keeping her brain active and, you know, alive and going out and doing things and making sure I'm exercising with her, that she probably would have had more time. I feel like I failed her in that regard. And so that's always going to eat at me. Like, so I've just been praying to deal with those feelings, you know. I know I hadn't really been sharing a lot of this stuff with you, but these past few years, seeing my mom just decline from dementia has been hard. And I didn't realize how much I just kind of internalized those feelings and suppressed them, but they've been impacting me very heavily, you know. The first thing that happened was, like, I moved to Atlanta, like I said. I think it was like the second birthday that I had in Atlanta. And I remember my mom didn't call me. And I was so heartbroken because my mom was very intuitive, right? I truly think she was gifted in terms of being able to get messages or just, like, you know, different happenings, right? She had some kind of a gift. She had 6 kids, right? And literally before each one of our birthdays, she used to get pains in her stomach, like labor pains. And that would kind of remind her like, oh, you know, a child's birthday is coming up or whatever. And that was just always her gift. So I remember on my birthday, she would be the first one to call me or text me at midnight. That was like a thing for her. Midnight, I'm reaching out. And so fast forward to my second birthday in Atlanta, you know, midnight passes and I'm like, oh, you know, mom hasn't reached out. And then like the day went by and I didn't hear from her. And I remember calling her and I was so mad. I'm like, you didn't call me to say happy birthday. And she forgot, right? She forgot. And that was the first thing where I'm like, you know, her memory is just, I don't know. And so from there, it just became, you know, forgetting phone numbers and then calling my siblings by the wrong names. And then phone calls started to become less and less because she was forgetting how to use her phone. So it went from me talking to my mom all the time, calling me to give me updates about the weather, about TV shows, to me going days and then weeks and then months without being able to hear from her unless someone was present, you know, on a phone for me to be able to talk to her. Dementia is such a cruel disease. Like she stopped being able to function on her own to get through her daily activities. You know, we would kind of be in a room with her and then she would kind of snap out or daze out for a second and not know where she was. And so it was just really hard seeing her deteriorate. I'm sad that she's not here physically, but I think kind of what I've been coping with for the past several years is like, yo, my mom was already dead. Like the woman who I knew was dead already. You know, we just had this shell of her here with us. And that was like a second loss, coping with the fact that the shell isn't here. So I guess I was kind of already preparing myself for this to happen. I was on the phone with one of my sisters and, you know, we're talking about our mom and trying to figure out, you know, how to assist her and like who's gonna care for her and things like that. And I told her, I'm like, honestly, I've been getting messages from God and I feel like he's preparing me for mom passing. And, you know, of course, my sister was hoping for the best, but I feel like, I mean, I was really being prepared, and nothing ever fully prepares you for that feeling of losing a parent. But I think that, you know, just having that in the back of my mind, it made it so that this process is still bearable for me. And I don't even think it's bearable. Like every moment of the day it fluctuates. You know, sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Sometimes I'm thinking about her and I'm laughing. Sometimes I'm on the floor bawling, you know. It's like I was being prepared, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to accept that my mom's not here. Like, Jesus. I just pray to God to carry me through this, y'all, because I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Y'all don't understand how close me and my mom were. Like, I love her to pieces. She was such a gift. And I think it's sad that even though we kind of knew she was a gift, I don't think we fully appreciated, we being everyone who encountered her. Like, she had such a light, and literally going through the process of, you know, planning for her funeral and looking at pictures of her when she was younger, I feel like I get to know her, like her backstory more. Like I saw how her personality formed, and, you know, just hearing all the great things that people said about her. I'm like, yo, my mom was dope. She was beautiful. She had beautiful green eyes. She had a bright, vibrant smile. She was nurturing. She accepted my friends, my siblings' friends as her own kids. She was just a lot of fun. She loved to sing. She loved to dance, like fashion sense, all of that, you know? And I just wanted more for her. I wanted more for her. One thing that I am grateful for, and I think this is a gift from God, is that he allowed me, you know, my last memories with her to be positive memories. The last time that I had a phone conversation with my mom was probably in like, I think it was like the end of June. And now, mind you, this is the point where she's declining, you know, kind of wandering around, angry at people, just can't fully care for herself. When I tell you, I got on the FaceTime call with my mom and we literally talked on the phone for like an hour, and there was you wouldn't think she had dementia. I promise you, like God gave me my mom in that moment, and we were able to catch up. And, you know, I'm telling her about life. I told her how I relocated, told her about my relationship, you know, like we just really got to catch up. And I joked around with her. I used to always call her white woman because she's super pale. And I'm like, hey, white woman, how you doing? Like just my sarcasm, my joking. We were able to kind of banter back and forth. And it was beautiful. And so I think it was that next week, I was like, hey, you know, I'm coming to visit. Like, I'm going to be able to see you. You get to meet my boyfriend. And she's like, oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to meet your boyfriend. And, you know, that was that. It was we closed the call and it was like good times, like old times. And so I was super excited to see her. And then I literally go up and visit her the next week. And she didn't remember who I was. I showed her pictures and I tried to explain to her that I was her daughter. But it just wasn't clicking for her. In fact, when she saw me, she was kind of angry because, you know, with dementia, it causes people's moods to change, right? And she was kind of angry with everybody. And so I remember sitting down and I'm like, well, hello, you know, I'm trying to talk to her. And she's like, what do you want? Leave me alone, like that type of thing, right? And so I just sat there next to her on the couch and I'm like, listen, we're going to have to figure something out because you're going to talk to me today. I'm going to make you like me today. And you could tell she kind of wanted to smirk, but she was trying to keep a straight face. And it just reminded me of so many times growing up where like I would annoy my mom so much. I like to think that when I lived with my mom, I kept her young. I swear I did. I would annoy her so much. And then she would try to be mad and I would say something that made her laugh. And she would just kind of like smirk and then bust out laughing, right? So it reminded me of those moments. Like I said, my mom loved to sing, loved to dance. She loved music. And so some music started playing. And so I'm like walking around, I'm dancing and she's looking at me dancing and she just staring at me, right? Like giving me this thing eye, was staring at me. And she goes, oh, I know you're not a part of my family dancing like that. And it was so funny. She said that because she always talked about how she doesn't have rhythm. And she always talked about how people in our family don't have rhythm, which child, I really ain't got rhythm. I be trying, but I ain't got a whole lot. But she must have liked the way that I was dancing. So she was like, oh, you can't be a part of my family dancing like that. So I asked her to dance with me. And literally from that moment, my mom and I had a ball. We were having a block party that day, or my sister was having a block party. And so they had music playing outside and food tents. So we go outside. My mom is dancing to everything. Glorilla, Cardi B, old music, new music. We're just dancing together. We're hip bumping. Like she was so excited. And it was just a burst of life in her, right? And she ended up sitting down next to me. And she's like, oh, you're my best friend, you know? You're my best friend, like, and she really is. I think in that moment, she realized who I was because we always said that we were each other's best friends. But I'm just so grateful to have had that moment. But then I remember getting sad because like, once it started getting to be dark outside, she kind of started losing it again. And that's the thing with people who have dementia, like with sundown, it makes them confused or, you know, anxious and things like that. And then she just kind of changed. I remember like just kind of breaking down and crying and like she's sitting down and I'm holding her hands and I'm like, I'm just praying over her. Like, you know, God, please cover my mom, like pull her through this. And she sees me crying and she's like, no, don't cry, don't cry. Don't, like she was kind of rambling a lot of things, but in that moment she's like, don't cry. It's okay, it's okay. And that's all I keep hearing in the back of my mind now. Every time I have a moment where I'm breaking down, I know my mom watches over me. It's just like, it's gonna take me a while to accept that she's just not here. I ask for signs from God every day just to show me that, you know, my mom is okay. And, you know, she had a safe transition and she watches over me. And it was so crazy because like I asked for that sign and literally like a day or so later, we saw that her birthday came out in the lottery, like literally her birthday straight out. And so I like to see that as a sign that, that she's with me, you know. Her funeral service was absolutely beautiful. And She just looks so gorgeous. Like, it really hurt for them to close that casket knowing that I would never see like her body again, but she looked gorgeous, like she was sleeping. And they said that when she passed away, she was holding on to this. So I decided to keep it. And it just makes me feel closer to her. And it still has, like, I can see pieces of her hair on it. This shit sucks so bad, yo. Like, I really wouldn't wish this type of pain and emptiness on my worst enemy. Yeah, I think that I will pause it here. It's tough because I feel like I want to do this, but it's also tough to get it out. So maybe it just comes with time. But my thought process was to kind of like record different phases of this journey, and maybe people who are further in it than me can give me some encouragement that it gets better. But yeah, that's my unfortunate life update. So I will see you guys when I see you. Appreciate your love, your support, and your prayers. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.